But the bosses rip us off. They seek only profit and more profit, and we have to fight them for everything. We want a decent life for our families, our children. All over the country, our fight is building against layoffs, speed up, for better wages and working conditions, for jobs. To organize unions and control the unions we've got. Against police attacks, discrimination, deportations of immigrant workers. And we're gonna fight them every damn step of the way. This story is part of that fight, part of the fight of the working class. It's the story of a strike for union recognition and the strength and power of working people when we unite and fight the capitalists. In May of 1972, 4,000 workers went on strike for a union at the Farah Company in Texas and New Mexico. During the months that followed, thousands of workers around the country joined the battle of the Farah strikers. Shoulder to shoulder, we fought Willie Farah and the capitalists backing him up. And after 22 months of hard struggle, we won. The victory at Farah was a victory for all working people. It was a blow against years of exploitation and oppression of Chicano people. Those of us who fought alongside the Farah strikers, on the picket lines at the stores, and in plants all over the country, want to share this story with working people everywhere.
En los llanos del sureste se oyen pasos muy ruidosos, como 1000 caballos bravos, galopeando y poderosos. Poco a poco se aproximan y nos dan su claridad. No son pasos de animales, sino de la humanidad. Vemos que son los obreros que para quiso explotar, pero ya dijeron huelga y su historia hay que escuchar. Pero ya dijeron huelga y su historia hay que escuchar.
Pues a los 5 años me dieron el primer aumento de un daime. Y a los, cuando tenía 16, como 15 años empecé a ganar los 2.10. Tenía que hacer 60 bultos. Sea que cada bulto eran 60 pantalones.
I had to go out because I was pregnant and they took away my time, so I started new. So I had to start all over again. That's pretty bad if you don't have a maternity leave. There isn't anything like that inside. Supervisors are all men. So you can imagine how hard it is in there. A lot of girls working there and supervisors are all men.
Le piden a uno más de la cota, todos los días quieren más y les hace uno el trabajo y otro día piden más.
Farah had a company doctor. His job wasn't to keep the workers healthy. He was there to keep them turning out the pants.
Me enfermé yo de un riñón y estaba muy enferma y fui con el doctor. Y le dije al doctor que yo me sentía muy mal y nada más me estaba dando pastillas y pastillas. Todos los días me daba y le decía que yo ya no aguantaba trabajar ahí. Tengo que ir al hospital. Y me dijo, no, aquí te voy a estar atendiendo yo. Pero ya pasó casi una semana y iba yo, me tenían que llevar en brazos porque ya no podía andar yo. Ya mi riñón no me sirvió. Yo le dije al doctor, por favor, que me mandara al hospital, que era una cosa que yo sentía. Me decía, esto le pasa a todas.
wanted me to be a bundle boy.
98% of the workers at FARA are Chicanos, and FARA discriminated against them in job promotion.
Okay, you've been working there for 5 years. You're still nothing but a kid, right there. And now the new guy that comes in, he's an Anglo, and that guy in 2 months or 2 months and a half, he's going to be on top of you. And what he does is that all the Mexican people, work from the bottom and stay on the bottom. And that's not fair. It's not fair. Once you're working in a plant or anywhere else, you've been working there for so much time, you got a right to be up before that new guy comes in.
Que corren a la gente sin razón, ya nomás se hace vieja la persona y la desocupan sin ninguna razón justa.
En 50 años que tiene esa fábrica, conozco a una persona que pensionaron, que es el Joe Farah, es el tío del Willy Farah.
He's making the money, we're making the pants, and we just don't live like human beings, We just live on what else we can do, or we can hire, or we can have to find another job in order to support ourselves because the cost of living is still going up.
The FARA company is one of the largest makers of men's pants in the U.S. Before the strike, the company had 9 plants in the Southwest, 4 in El Paso, 2 in San Antonio, 1 in Victoria, 1 in Las Cruces, 1 in Albuquerque, a plant in Belgium, and 1 in Hong Kong. 9,500 people work at FARA in the U.S. 85% are women. The company has been around for 53 years, but really got big in World War II by getting government contracts for military uniforms. Every bit of wealth that the FARA family owns comes from the backs of the workers. They're part of the whole class of parasites that run this country. The rich industrialists and bankers, the capitalists. These capitalists definitely did not want a successful union drive at FARA because it would cut into their profits and inspire workers all over the country, and especially unorganized workers. The bosses had a lot to lose when the FARA workers started their drive to bring in the Amalgamated Clothing Workers Union in 1969. For 3 years, they tried to stop the workers, but the FARA workers were determined to win.
Nosotros estuvimos yendo a las plantas todos los días a las 6 de la mañana antes de entrar a trabajar. Llevábamos cartelones, hacíamos propaganda para que la gente se uniera con nosotros. A mediodía les hablábamos a la gente adentro de la compañía. Yo les decía, firmen, no tengan miedo.
Esa mañana se repartían unos papeles que decían happy en FARA, y como yo no estaba feliz en FARA por sus sueldos, por la presión que dan ahí, pues no me los quise yo poner, ¿no? Los agarré y los tiré al suelo, como tiraba basura todo el tiempo, y mi mayordomo me vio y me dijo que me bajara de mi máquina inmediatamente y fuera y marcara mi tarjeta, que no tenía más trabajo.
But the firings and harassment didn't stop the FARA workers from organizing. Throughout history, the working classes had to fight the capitalists for everything. Mexican-American workers, the Chicanos, and immigrant workers from Mexico have always been part of this fight. Back in the years before the Civil War, the southern slave owners needed more land. They had their eyes on Mexico and pushed for war to grab that land. During the Mexican-American War of 1846, the U.S. seized over half of Mexico's land. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo sealed the land grab in 1848. This treaty supposedly guaranteed the Mexican people their land grants, their culture, and their civil rights. But the capitalists and the landowners trampled on the treaty from the start. They organized vigilantes and the Texas Rangers to drive the people off the land by terror. But the people resisted. In Texas, Juan Cordina organized an army to fight against the ranchers. In the plains of northern New Mexico, the Gorras Blancas rode at night against the railroad companies and ranchers who were stealing the land. Fences were cut. Tracks were destroyed. After the Civil War, the northern capitalists began to grab land and resources and expand their industries all over the country. Workers of every nationality came to work in the Southwest and California. Together they fought the mine owners, railroad bosses, and landowners. Mexicans worked on the railroad gangs of the Southern Pacific, Santa Fe, and Rock Island lines. They settled along the tracks, east into Kansas, north to Chicago. They dug and hauled copper from the Arizona desert and silver from the Colorado mountains, picked cotton and migrated from field to field, from harvest to harvest. This story of the father-in-law of one of the strikers is a story of how millions of working people struggled in those times.
Los ricos, que no le hace qué país sea, le voy a decir que su propósito es enriquecerse, pero no les importa acabar con las vidas de aquellos trabajadores. Yo nací en Amiquipa, estado de Chihuahua, en el 1898. Vine a los Estados Unidos en aquellos tiempos azarosos de la Revolución de 1910.
In 1910, the Mexican people rose up against the landlords and the dictator Díaz.
Que si Adelita se fuera con otro, que si Adelita por tierra y por mar, si por mar en un buque de guerra, y si por tierra en un tren militar.
Driven from their land by the U.S. landowners in their own country, and during the upheaval of the revolution, hundreds of thousands of Mexican people came north, across the border, to find work. Most of these workers settled in the U.S., and like millions of other immigrants, became part of the U.S. working class.
Lo primero que hice fue trabajar por los ranchos. En aquellos tiempos se pagaba $1 por el día. Por ahí me puse de acuerdo con un señor que trabajaba en la vía. En los ranchos, como le digo, ganaba $1, pero allí iba a ganar mucho dinero, $1.50. En el ferrocarril, sí.
¿Qué clase de trabajadores?
Pues éramos esos que andan componiendo la vía. Eso era lo que hacíamos nosotros.
¿De dónde eran? ¿Mexicanos?
Mexicanos, los mayordomos eran americanos, porque por aquellos tiempos siempre los mexicanos y los negros no éramos muy bien vistos. Se nos veía con un tanto de desprecio.
In the railroad and mining camps, the bosses discriminated against minority workers. They had special cut-rate wages known as the Mexican rates. Wages were low for everybody, but on top of that, they paid the Mexican workers half of what they paid white workers doing the same jobs. But the miners fought back and demanded equality. In 1915, 5,000 miners of all nationalities struck the Clifton-Morenzi mines in Arizona, demanding an end to the Mexican rates. In Ludlow, Colorado, workers showed their unity when miners of all nationalities struck the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company, owned by John D. Rockefeller. Troops were called in to break the strike, killing 13 women and children. The miners took up arms and fought the troops. For 10 days, the battle raged, and 46 men were killed. Most of them were company guards.
Y luego vino una bonanza poco antes de esa depresión en que nos daban trabajo de contrato y bonos, de suerte que ganábamos buenos centavos. Pero después de esa bonanza, pues vino la crisis, que todos pensábamos que se había juntado el cielo con la tierra.
During the Great Depression of the 30s, the capitalists tried to make the workers pay for their economic crisis. Faced with unemployment, bread lines, and evictions, the whole working class rose up. Strikes and union organizing drives swept the country. Many of the struggles of the 30s were led by communists. They called on the workers to stand up and fight the handful of exploiters who were getting rich off the sweat and blood of the workers. They organized for unemployment relief, led and organized strikes and union drives. Through the work of communists during the crisis, many people started thinking about revolution, about getting rid of the bosses for good. In auto and steel, in every industry around the country, millions of workers fought the bosses. In the fields of the Southwest, the farm workers struck. Faced with deportations and vigilante shotguns, they demanded unions and an end to bad housing, bad sanitary conditions, contractors, and the Mexican rates. During the harvest of 1933, 18,000 Mexican and Chicano cotton pickers struck at Corcoran and Pixley, California. 2 strikers were killed at Pixley, but the workers kept on, and the strike spread all over the San Joaquin Valley. During the crisis, the capitalists no longer needed a large pool of labor. The government began deporting both Mexican-American and Mexican workers. In the 1930s, 500,000 were deported, hauled off into Mexico, so crowded they couldn't sit, over the tracks, past the fields, mines, and factories they had poured their sweat into.
Yo soy Aida García. Nací en Pittsburgh, California. A la edad de 2 años fui llevada a México. Allá me crié. Muy joven empecé a trabajar a la edad de 12 años en fábrica de textil. Trabajaba de las 11 de la noche a las 6 de la mañana. Viendo yo la situación que no era vida, hice por arreglar mis papeles y me vine a vivir aquí al Paso. Entré en el 55 a trabajar con Farah. Vine con el fin de mejorar, pues lo que pasó que fue puro trabajo continuamente.
Chicano people come home from work to face the worst conditions. In El Paso, there's a neighborhood called the Segundo Barrio. In part of the barrio known as the Seven Hells, each family gets 2 rooms, a kitchen and a bedroom. 15 families have to share an outside toilet and sink. About 6 blocks away, the city government spent 18 million tax dollars to build a new civic center in the shape of a Mexican sombrero. But the Chicano people have taken the fight against oppression into the streets in actions like the Chicano Moratorium in August 1970, when 25,000 people marched in Los Angeles against the war in Vietnam and against the oppression of Chicano people in the United States.
Viva la revolución, viva nuestra asociación, viva huelga en general.
In 1965, farm workers walked out of the fields in Delano, California. This was the beginning of a decade of struggle that continues to this day. The farm workers have been an inspiration to all workers. Their struggle showed the Pharaoh workers that they could fight and win.
Desde la edad de 14 años hasta la edad de 26 años, yo era trabajador del campo. Entonces, en los últimos del 69, comenzaron unos compañeros, ¿me entiende?, que si quería ingresar a la Unión y que este y que el otro que necesitaban la Unión. Entonces ya para ese tiempo yo ya sabía que sí se necesitaba la Unión en Farah, ¿ve? Entonces, pues yo me decidí luego, ¿ve?, que pues era lo que necesitábamos, ¿ve?, porque según yo miraba que trataban la gente el mismo modo que nos trataban en los files por allá en California, en Washington, todo allá, ¿me entiendes?, los patrones, los mayordomos allá. Así la misma cosa sucedía aquí, ¿ve? Yo pensaba que al trabajar en una industria iba a ser muy diferente, pero pues no me llevé mucho tiempo para comprender yo mismo, ¿me entiende?, que era la misma cosa. Entonces, como le digo, ya cuando me dijeron otros compañeros que si querían ingresar en la Unión y que este y que el otro, que metieron la Unión en Farah, entonces yo, pues luego, para pronto les dije que sí, ¿ve?
After 3 years of organizing, the strength of the workers at Farah was growing. They were tired of waiting for the NLRB to decide whether or not Farah had to recognize a union. In the first week of May 1972, 7 workers were fired at Farah's San Antonio plant. That was it. Without waiting for union sanction, 500 workers walked out. News of the walkout traveled fast, and on May 9th, 1972, the workers in El Paso stood up and took the steps that would change all their lives.
En las fábricas de Para, año del 72, pararon todas las máquinas, 4.000 obreros. La gente estaba cansada de injusticias y opresión, de racismo, malos pagos y de no tener unión. Por eso se unieron todos, mujeres y hombres también. Huelguistas no por un día, sino que hasta todo cambie. Huelguistas no por un día, sino que hasta todo cambie.
It's real nice. Everybody started yelling. Everybody was waiting for everybody to come out.
Yeah, the guys were waiting for everybody to come out.
Beautiful.
Well, I was in there and I was encouraging everybody up there to come with me. They thought I was crazy. Here I was waving it to everybody to come and join. And they would just look at me and then they would see the supervisor that would go back to their machine and go, come on, don't leave me alone, come on.
We were walking, outside, and then my supervisor wrote a spot. He came out and he just looked at me like that, real tough. And then I just turned around and I say, bye.
And everybody came out except one. So you can imagine how it was
For the supervisor
when he saw us leave. Hey girls, come back! No way. We just kept walking.
Many strikers went down to the picket lines every day, calling on the workers inside to join the strike. Day after day, more workers walked out and took a stand on the picket line. There were 3,000 out in El Paso alone. Over 400 Mexican workers from Juarez joined the strike. Farah started hiring scabs. The strikers ran into the forces of law and order, the rich man's law and the rich man's order. After 2 weeks, Farah got a court injunction against the strikers that said pickets had to be 50 feet apart. But Willie Farah couldn't make that injunction stick all by himself. He needed help, because all he had was a piece of paper from the judge, and the strikers were still out on the picket lines. The Justice of the Peace in El Paso issued arrest warrants and pocketed $4 for each arrested striker. The cops harassed people on the picket lines, went to people's homes in the middle of the night. Over 800 strikers were arrested.
I was on sleep, when I heard the telephone ring, and I wanted to answer it, and they told me if Mr. Gallardo lived in there. I told him that I was. He said, well, we got a warrant for your arrest. And I said, why? And then that's when they told me that I was arrested for mass picketing.
The thing they were doing was taking pictures. That's the only way they were trying to get the names of the people that were mass picketing.
And then when they had those pictures developed, they showed up to every supervisor in there. And then every supervisor that knew anybody on the picture pointed out, well, this is who and who, and his name is who and who, and this is where he lives, and stuff like that. I said, okay, you sure you recognize this guy? Yeah. I said, okay, now this guy's going to jail.
Farah had barbed wire strung around the plants and gave attack dogs to the company guards. The Farah workers had a big fight on their hands. They started organizing for a long strike. In July, the Amalgamated called for a national boycott of Farah pants. The farm workers had used this tactic successfully against the growers, so the Farah workers started picketing the downtown stores as well as the plants.
Do you want
be a rich man for long, that's for sure.
It was hard. The strikers were getting $30 a week from the Union Strike Fund, contributed by tens of thousands of workers and amalgamated across the country. The strikers also set up a fund for emergencies, the Farah Distress Fund. Some people couldn't pay the rent, so they moved in with their families. The credit unions tried to take away their furniture. Banks refused loans, and they had a fight to get their food stamps. The capitalists and their government were trying to starve the strikers out, but they wouldn't give up. The struggle was too important, not just for themselves, but for all workers. If they could beat Farah, then other workers across the country would stand up and say, if they can do it, so can we.
Durante los largos meses que la huelga sucedió, la lucha de los huelguistas con gran fuerza se apoyó. Como huelga contra Farah que millones le costó, pues toda la clase obrera este fin se dirigió. La victoria de la huelga contra pantalones paros, pero aquel
Got a leaflet, huh? And I don't believe in, no non-union shop.
pero aquel obrero unido a los capitales para.
I don't know, but I've been told. I don't know, but I've been told. Willie Farrah's getting old. Willie Farrah's getting old. I don't care if he lives or dies. I don't care if he lives or dies. We're still here, we gotta organize. We're still here, we gotta organize. Am I right or wrong? Right on! Am I right or wrong? Right on! Am I right or wrong? Right on!
People around the country heard about the strike and wanted to do something to support it. In the San Francisco Bay Area, strike support committees were initiated by communists, members of the Revolutionary Union.
We first heard about the Farah Strike in the late summer of 1972. Somebody's going through a newspaper and they found a small article on it. It was impossible to tell from the article very much about what was involved in the strike, but one thing was pretty clear. Several thousand Chicano workers were fighting like hell. So the Revolutionary Union sent two of us down there to find out what was going on with the Farah Strike. And it was on the picket lines in El Paso, from the workers themselves, we began to get an understanding of what this strike represented. We came back to the Bay Area convinced that the Farah Strike was of real significance for people all over the country. We wanted to take the word out, to let as many people know about the strike and to build the broadest possible support. Well, we went to the union. They assured us that everything was under control. When we tried to explain how hardly anybody in our shops or in our communities knew about the strike or the boycott, one union official was amazed. After all, there'd just been a big article in the New York Times about it. Well, when we tried to explain how everybody didn't read the New York Times, they told us to get lost. But the Farah Strike was too important for us to get lost. So we called together meetings of students, of workers, of various political and community organizations to discuss the importance of the strike and what we could do. And it was out of these meetings that the first Farah Strike support committees in the Bay Area were formed.
Word of the strike began to spread as workers from the committee took the message of the strike into their plants and neighborhoods. In San Francisco, the longshoremen organized the $1 a Week Club.
The $1 a Week Club came out of a meeting that we had with about 5 or 6 other unions and other organizations one night to discuss the Farah problem, the Farah Strike. And we talked about ways to help the Farah strikers. And one of the ways that we decided on was forming a $1 a Week Club. We sent away for some badges, and the badges said boycott Farah pants and $1 a week on them. And we raised about $2,000. I'm talking about the guys who got up early in the morning to go down to the pay line and collect money from the guys. Through their efforts and through those guys taking the time to really get the word out to the guys on the waterfront, I think that the entire Longshore Division was behind this strike.
In San Leandro, California, workers at the International Harvester plant thought of many ways to support the Farah strikers.
We here at IH, most of us feel that we are part of the working class people, and to support other workers, we have to really pull together.
Like me, I mean, I really haven't done that much except, kind of back the people here in the shop, I mean, like, they told me, I mean, they explained to me what the Farah strike was all about.
A couple of us got together and asked a couple of people if they would like to donate to every month, contribute to help the Farah people. And some gave $1, some gave $5, and some gave more than what they asked for. And then we did that for about a year, and then to show our appreciation, that a couple of Farah people sent us 2 bottles of rum. And we decided, how can we drink that among 50 persons? So we decided to have a raffle, and another brother donated a dinner for the first prize, and other people donated some more bottles of booze, and then we had a great raffle, and we raised over $200, and that's how we started to help Farah people. And when people are united, workers can't be defeated.
We all immediately saw the importance of the strike and that we should support it, because a couple of months before that, they had closed the plant in Stockton, International Harvester plant in Stockton, and they moved most of the work to Mexico. And they laid off, and naturally all the workers were out of jobs. Some of them came into our plant. There was room, they came in to work, but we found out that it's important to organize the Southwest, and in fact, a lot of other places. But organizing at Farah alone wasn't going to stop plants from closing down and running away to other countries and non-union areas in the U.S. Because as long as the bosses are running the show, they'll move their plants wherever they can get the most profit. For example, on the Mexican border, there are now over 400 U.S.-owned factories. The U.S. capitalists have their hands deep in the economy of Mexico and are responsible for creating the poverty that forces so many Mexican people into the U.S. to find work. Then the bosses try to use this situation by saying that it's immigrant workers to blame for all our problems like unemployment. But this is bull. We're all workers, regardless of which side of the border we live on, and we've got the same enemy.
All of us has been oppressed in the same way. We've been torn apart as far as our labor. We've been abused, and we are class brothers in this struggle. We are brothers all the way, and we're going to fight this thing out until the end.
Every strike teaches us that united we are powerful. The capitalists would like nothing better than to keep us divided, isolated, and weak. When we stand up and strike back, it becomes a whole lot clearer who our real friends are and who our enemy is. Our enemy is not just one exploiter, but Willie and all his friends. The whole damn class of exploiters in their system, the capitalist system. The capitalist system means unemployment. It means police murder. It means people dying on the job because of unsafe working conditions. It means war. It means grinding workers into the dirt to make their profits. The only way we're going to put an end to all this is by getting rid of the whole damn system that puts the profits of a few parasites over the needs of the people. All the means they use to stop us, their cops and their courts and their newspapers, makes it crystal clear they aren't just going to dry up and blow away. It makes it clear that what we're really talking about is revolution against this whole system. The armed overthrow of the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, and their junior partners like Farah. We're talking about a powerful movement that is building, led by the working class. Not only can we get rid of these parasites, we can build a new society run by the working class in the interest of the vast majority of people. A socialist system where Rocky will either pick peaches or be fertilizer for a tree. We wanted working people all over to see the battle of the Farah strikers as their battle.
And what Willie Farah and the rest of his class were so afraid of started to happen. Workers, students, community groups, all kinds of people started building support for the Farah strikers. Whether it was taking a leaflet into a factory to hit fellow workers about the strike, or organizing a dance on campus to raise money for the strikers, or taking around petitions of support to neighbors. Hundreds of people were on the move because people had come to see the Farah strikers as very brave sisters and brothers fighting the same enemy we face. We'd come to see the Farah strike as our own.
They don't have no union, they don't have no support from nobody, but the rest of the workers that we are helping them, standing for them. And I guess by this we're doing pretty good. It's a big crowd, what we bring here today. And we expect that the people like this, sticking together, working together, we will win.
When it happens that this is finally finished and they finish Farah and its flax and Mervyn's for selling them, and it back in Texas and New Mexico, I know it'll make a difference, and it'll make a difference to me in my heart, my feelings. for them. It won't hit my pocketbook, but it'll help me in the way I feel. Being a Mexican woman has a lot to do with it. And I have 5 children that I'm struggling to support. And I know what it feels like. It's hard.
Qué ejemplo tan bonito, esta lucha proletaria de la fuerza omnipotente de mujeres de la raza, los vendidos de la vara, dicen que esto es imposible, pues las mujeres son débiles y los hombres invencibles, pero las mujeres dicen a patrones ignorantes, no queremos bellas flores sino huelga en todas partes. No queremos bellas flores, sino huelga en todas partes.
Todo el tiempo he creído que en la liberación de la mujer, que si se están atadas a la casa, pues no haciendo nada. Que tenemos que las mujeres, como trabajamos, tenemos que hacer algo también afuera, así como los hombres, no más. Todas las mujeres están decididas a hacer una.
¿Es verdad? ¿Estamos en eso? ¿Verdad que queremos mejores uniones? ¿Respeto? ¿Verdad que queremos trabajos seguros? Entonces hay que pelear para tener el derecho de vivir en paz y tener el mejor futuro para nuestros hijos. Y como nosotros somos humanos, vamos a estar unidos hasta la muerte, yo creo que todo el mundo, ¿verdad? Entonces hay que darle esta batalla y tener la victoria para todos, no nomás para nosotros que estamos en huelga.
The strikers went all over the country, talking to working people about the strike. In Martinez, California, 2 women met with striking oil workers and their wives and told how they had supported other workers on strike against a Cashway warehouse in El Paso.
Estaban tristes porque estaban en huelga.
These men that were out on strike, they were very disappointed. Nothing was going on. They were very sad.
Y luego llevé muchos cohetes.
And then I took a whole mess of firecrackers.
Y empezamos a aventarlo a los esquiroles.
And then we started throwing them to the scabs.
Y al dueño de Cashway.
And then to the owner of Cashway.
Andaba muy nervioso, muy nervioso.
He was very nervous.
Iba y se paraba cerca de nosotros.
He would go and stand next to us.
Y se ponía así.
And then he would go like this.
Y caminaba para allá y caminaba para acá.
He would walk back and forward.
Y se rascaba la cabeza.
He would scratch his head.
Y seguíamos aventando cohetes.
We would keep on throwing firecrackers.
Y en la tarde lo sacaron en camilla en la Cruz Roja porque estaba muy malo.
And in the afternoon they took him in the, that carrier because he got real sick and they had to take him to the hospital.
Muchas gracias. ¡Huelga, huelga! Todo el tiempo tienen que gritar bien recio.
You always have to scream it out. Viva la huelga. 1, 2, 3. Viva la huelga!
Like if you say, oh, I'm getting tired of this, you know, this is 2 months already, I'm tired, I'm getting out. Don't say that. Stick together. Because if you do that, then the boss himself, inside shell, whatever company it is, he's going to say, see, they're losing. I'm the one that's the big shot around here. But you show them that you can do it, and you will do it because we're all going to stick together, and we're not going to let no boss run over us. Don't you think so?
Well, there's an old saying that women hold half of the sky, and I believe in that. And I'm really feel proud of those women that faced up to the big men. And it was about time that they came out and say something. They're part of this world too, and I feel proud of them.
Willie Farah thought he could starve the strikers out. He thought he was in the big leagues. But on May 9th, 1973, the strikers celebrated. After a year on strike, they were just warming up, and Willie Farah was on the losing team.
But if we want this victory to happen,
it can't just be our tongues to flap.
There's a lot of work to helping our cause advance. And while there's a whole world full of wrongs to right,
and though we won't be changing them overnight,
what a better way to start than to boycott Farah pants. Yeah. Come on, sing it! Boy, girl, boycott Farah pants. Boy, girl, boycott Farah pants. Well, if you like to fight and you like to win, there's room for more. You can all join in. Everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. Come on, come on, come on. Everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. And you, and you, and you. Everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. Every single person, everybody gotta boycott Farah pants.
By June of 1973, there were active support committees in Seattle, Los Angeles, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Thousands of people knew about the Farah Strike and what it represented. Striking farm workers came to Oakland from the Salinas Valley in California for a march called by the support committees. The march was called to picket the Capwell stores in Oakland, which were selling Farah pants, and to bring together three important struggles: the Farah Strike, the farm workers' strike, and the strike of black and white textile workers who were fighting for a union at the Oneida Mills in South Carolina. In San Francisco, the support committee took news of the Farah Strike into the Chinatown community. A lot of people there work in sweatshops with lousy pay, bad conditions, and no unions. When people heard about how the Farah strikers were fighting back, workers, students, and people from the community joined the fight and came out to join the picket lines at the stores. But building support on the West Coast was not enough. The support had to be built nationwide. The lessons of the Farah Strike had to be taken to workers throughout the country. In June of 1973, the Revolutionary Union organized a national tour. 2 people traveled throughout the Midwest and East Coast. In dozens of different cities, they talked with a lot of people about what the strike was all about and how the committees functioned. As a result of this tour, many new committees were set up all over the country. From Los Angeles to Seattle, Chicago to Birmingham, New York to Hawaii, support committees and activities spread. Striking textile workers at the Rivertex plant in Mexico send a message of solidarity. Workers at Farah's Belgian plant send word of their support. And at Farah's Hong Kong plant, the workers refused to handle scab pants sent from El Paso. After being out on strike for so many months, some people were getting discouraged. Something had to be done. So while the union bureaucrats were waiting around for the NLRB to act and posing for pictures with politicians, some of the strikers decided it was time for the rank-and-file workers to take matters into their own hands. They organized a workers' rally to unite the strikers, build support among workers in El Paso, and show that they were going to win.
En 1930, los United Auto Workers se sentaron adentro de su planta con Ford, General Motors y Chrysler. Los que ahorita nos han apoyado son las raíces que nos dan la fuerza a nosotros ahorita. Las mismas raíces, las mismas semillas que los huelguistas de Farah han sembrado aquí en el pueblo del Paso, Texas. No solamente aquí en la ciudad, sino que en Texas, los Estados Unidos y muchas áreas del mundo se reconoce la fuerza chicana de los huelguistas.
Estamos todos los chicanos, aunque somos pocos, pero representamos a muchos. Y no nomás los chicanos. Ahorita tenemos amigos filipinos, chinos, japoneses, puertorriqueños, americanos. Ustedes nomás digan cuál raza y esa raza está con nosotros hasta el final porque vamos a ganar esta huelga. Le vamos a enseñar a Willie Farah que no es cierto que dijo, ustedes los chicanos salen y se mueren de hambre.
We were ready to fight, all right. Workers of every nationality, from every industry, joined in the battle of the Farah Strikers, because we know what it's like. The strikers and support committees built support for the strike in the Chicano communities and joined in the struggle of the people against bad housing and police repression. Like when this 11-year-old boy, Santos Rodriguez, was murdered by a cop in Dallas. 3,500 people, black, white, and Chicano, marched against the murder of Santos and all police attacks on the people. When the news hit El Paso, some of the strikers got together with students and people in the community and had a march themselves. The fight in El Paso and around the country continued. All through the fall and winter, the strikers kept it up at the plant gates. Even the scabs were getting fed up with working at Farah, and some joined the strike. The support committees were picketing more and more stores. Almost every major store chain was hit by the boycott.
Boycott Farah! Boycott Farah!
In Seattle, 15 stores had been stopped from selling Farah pants. In New York, supporters did a little spray painting at Macy's, and thousands of dollars worth of pants got ruined.
Yeah. Well, now there's 4,000 strikers on that line.
Fighting for their rights and yours and mine.
And if we stick together, Farah hasn't got a chance. Because the strike and boycotts cost him plenty.
18 million is a pretty penny.
And Farah's gonna eat his words or eat his pants. Come on, now sing it. Boy, girl, boycott Farah pants. Oh, boy, girl, boycott Farah pants. Well, if you like to fight and you like to win, there's room for more. You can all join in, cause everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. Come on, come on, come on. Everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. Every single person, everybody gotta boycott Farah pants. Whoa, yeah.
Finally, in February 1974, Willie Farah gave up and agreed to recognize the union. The strikers sent this message to all strike support committees around the country. This is the first step in a significant victory for workers in the Southwest. This has been brought about by the militant unity of the strikers and the support of workers all over the country. The workers won the battle at Farah, but the fight is still going on. Winning the union was a big step, but the Farah workers still have to fight for better wages and working conditions and to control the union they fought so hard to win. Like working people everywhere, they're up against the bosses and the union officials who are only interested in collecting union dues and telling us to cooperate with the bosses instead of building the struggle against them. All over the country, the victory has been an inspiration for the whole working class, part of the growing fight against the attacks coming down on us. For us workers, every day is a struggle to survive and have a decent life. And as long as Willie Farah and the rest of his class are running the show, we're going to keep on fighting till we get rid of them and their whole rotten system. Every victory makes us that much stronger, and the Farah strike, like so many battles we've fought before and are fighting right now, taught us a lot about the system we're up against and how to fight. And like one of the strikers said, this is just one of the preliminaries. The main bout is yet to come.
La lucha de los chicanos contra pantalones para es un golpe muy bien dado hacia un monstruo que nos traga. El momento ha llegado en que el pueblo se levante con la fuerza del combate. Ganaremos el combate con la fuerza de la gente. Ganaremos el combate.